Hello again everyone, it is me, Matsimus. I appreciate you stopping by on today's video. We're talking more about some artillery pieces today, and being an aspiring gunner, from a personal standpoint, this means a lot to me to talk about this piece of military equipment, because it is pertaining to my particular trade, and that means a lot to me. Now the guns, they're always required on the battlefield. At any point that you're going into battle, artillery is going to be required to support you in your role. Whether you're infantry, armoured, airborne, I don't care, you need the guns. And this is definitely one of those guns that is packing some serious punch, and 155mm to be precise. The Ultralight-weight field howitzer, otherwise known as the UFH, is the designated M777 in the United States of America's design. It was selected in 1997, so it's a fairly new piece of equipment overall, and it was done by a joint US Army and Marine Corps initiative to replace the existing inventory of the M777 155mm towed howitzers. The first of the 5 EMD systems were delivered in June 2000. The US Marine Corps is to procure a further 200 systems of the 380 systems they originally designed for procurement, and the US Army's 273 systems are set in place as they are right now. A low-rate initial production, or LRIP, contract for 94 systems was also awarded in November 2002 to be potentially spread between reserve units across other military branches in the US military. Operational testing with the United States Marine Corps, during which nearly 12,000 artillery rounds were fired by 4 production systems, was completed in December 2004. A contract for a full-rate production of 495 systems was awarded to BAE Systems in April 2005. In May 2005, the United States Marine Corps began fielding the M777 with the 11th Marines Unit and 29 Palms, California. The first 18 systems were delivered to the US Army 2nd Battalion, 11th Field Artillery in Hawaii in October 2006. The M777 has been developed by BAE Land Systems, or Aero Defense, formerly Armaments Groups of Vickers Shipbuilding Engineering in Barrow-in-Furness. There are 2 different variants of this howitzer, the A1 and the A2. The M777 will be the artillery system for the Striker Brigade Combat Teams, or SBCTs. The M777 is normally operated by a crew of 8 soldiers, but can be operated with a reduced detachment of 5. Now, I can just imagine it now working as a crew of 5, this being an absolute nightmare if you have a heavy fire mission of multiple rounds. It's a big round, folks. 155mm of round need to be put in there, along with the charge, and along with all the ergonomics that it is to operate a piece of equipment like this. It is not very easy to try and push the round in this thing. As you can see by the push bar in there, trying to slam that round into the breech. So operating as a crew of 5, I can just imagine being absolutely terrible. But a crew of 8 is going to pretty much be able to substantially maintain a rate of fire on this gun. As you can see, these gentlemen in the Marine Corps here are working very hard to push rounds into these tubes and get rounds down range as quickly as possible, because at the end of the day, folks, the artillery needs to get rounds onto target as quickly and effectively as possible, on target and on delivery on time to the rest of the all arms. So it's really integral to have this round get in there quick, but at the same time you want to have the troops working together and having the gun drills perfect for this kind of weapon, because a lot can go wrong. The system is fitted with a digital fire control system and is designated the M777A1, and those with a software update which allows the firing of the Excalibur projectile, the M777A2, is designated for that round. The M777A2 received a full material release in July 2007, just before I deployed to Afghanistan actually, which is very interesting because actually these guns did support me in Afghanistan whilst I was deployed in Musakala and elsewhere in Afghanistan, Helmand Province. The US Marine Corps were utilising these guns heavily whilst out there, so thank you to anyone who did serve on those guns back in the day. The further M777A1 systems will be upgraded to the final A2 standard concurrently throughout all the arms. The M777 was deployed by the US Army and Marine Corps to Afghanistan in December 2007 and to Iraq in 2008. The Excalibur projectile was first deployed in Afghanistan in March 2008. By August 2008, over 400 systems had been delivered to the US Army and US Marine Corps. In April 2008, again just before I deployed to Afghanistan, BAE Systems received an order for an additional 87 M777 systems for the US Army and US Marine Corps. Deliveries began in 2010. In December 2005, the first 4 of 6 M777 systems were supplied by the United States Marine Corps to the Canadian Army, which I am now very proud to serve under the Foreign Military Sales Contract, or FMS. The systems were deployed to Afghanistan in February 2006. A further 6 systems have been ordered and are in service. In June 2008, Canada requested a further 25 systems to a total of 37 M777A2s. In 2008, Australia requested the foreign military sale of 57 M777 Howitzers as well. BAE Systems has developed a mobile version, the M777 Porty, which is mounted on a purpose-built 8x6 Supercat vehicle. The vehicle was shown in the Eurosatory in June 2006, which is basically a huge arms expo. Now, the video that we're seeing right now is actually footage of the British Army utilising this system for, I guess, a trial and development phase, and I have still not found much information as to why the British Army did not try and pick this gun. I think it's for the most part shown that the AS90 is ticking the box for the 155mm roll in the British Army. I don't think they really saw the benefit in having to bring in the M777 to their ranks if they had that firepower on hand with the AS90. Of course, we do have the light guns available for, towed artillery to fire when required, but seeing the footage of the Brits using this is really interesting, and it makes me a little proud. I'm just also a little sad to not see the gun in the ranks of the British Army, but money is tight, I'm sure, across the spectrum, and decisions were made to kind of keep it out. But seeing the boys operate this thing from a British standpoint is really, really cool, considering I'm from a country that actually utilizes this weapons platform in the Canadian Army. So seeing the Brits use it and trialing it like this, it kind of brings a little tear to my eye. But awesome drills, looks really, really cool. So in July 2004, though, the M777 successfully completed a series of airlift tests with the US Marine Corps. The MV-22 Osprey tilt-rotor aircraft was actually the aircraft that was able to do so. The M777 was carried as an external load for a distance of 69 nautical miles. The Indian Ministry of Defence had also requested 145 M777s from multiple contractors under a foreign military sales contract. The $885 million contract also included the procurement of associated equipment and logistical supports that support basically the electronic systems and the services for the aircraft that actually lift these things. The MOD from the UK also failed to sign a deal on the 15th of October 2013, a deadline imposed by BAE, causing the company to initiate the shutdown of its M777 Howitzers production line at Boroughfurnace, UK. The construction of the M777 makes extensive use of titanium and titanium castings. This enables a huge weight reduction of 3,175 kilograms or 7,000 pounds compared to the M198 Howitzer, which it replaces in the US Army and the US Marine Corps inventory. The titanium is supplied by RTI International Metals of Niles, Ohio. I think I'm saying that. Niles, Ohio. The M777 matches the firepower of current generation 155mm towed systems at less than half the weight. The howitzer is equipped with a 39 caliber barrel, and the muzzle velocity of this gun at charge 8 is a very impressive 827 meters a second. The maximum firing range of this gun unassisted is 24.7 kilometers and 30 kilometers with rocket assisted rounds. The M777A2 will fire Raytheon, Bofors XM9082, Excalibur, GPS, inertial navigation, guided extended range 155mm projectiles using the Modular Artillery Charge System, or MAX. Excalibur has a maximum range of 40 kilometers and an accuracy within 10 meters. The first firing of the M777A1 with Excalibur took place in August 2003. First production rounds were delivered in September 2006, and Excalibur successfully completed limited user testing in March 2007. It was first fielded in Iraq in May 2007 and also in Afghanistan in February 2008. The M777 is able to deliver up to 5 rounds a minute under intense firing conditions and is able to provide a sustained rate of fire of 2 rounds per minute. Now, considering the weight of the shells that you're putting into this tube, the size of the barrel that you're trying to manipulate, that's pretty darn impressive. A lot of people will always say the field guns are useless, get them on wheels, get them on tracks. I used to think the same until I actually started getting accustomed and, exposed to the artillery now that I'm in the trade. And, I will never say that a field gun is unrequired. I will always say that we require a field gun to be on the battlefield. There's a lot of reasons behind that, not much of which I'm going to talk to today because it's not specific to this gun. But I really do feel that that kind of rate of fire is pretty impressive considering that you're putting 155mm worth of shell down range. The LRIP system is used to employ an optical sighting system for direct and indirect fire by day or night. Full production systems were fitted with a General Dynamics Armament System Towed Artillery Designation System, otherwise known as a TAD. The LRIP systems are retrofitted with the TAD. The TAD digital fire control system provides onboard ballistic computation, navigation, pointing and self-location, providing a huge improvement to accuracy and faster reaction times to get rounds downrange to the all arms. The TAD system also includes a laser ignition system, electric drives for the howitzer's traverse and elevation, and a powered projectile rammer. Unfortunately, as you're seeing in most of this video here, you can see that for the most part the boys are ramming that projectile in there with that very awkward looking pole. The M777 has a production weight of 3,745 kilograms as mentioned, but can be transported by helicopter, transporter, aircraft and ship. The howitzer can be towed by an air-braked 4x4 vehicle greater than 2.5 tons. Now, a gun like this towed is a lot of strain to put on a drivetrain in a vehicle, but it is capable for most vehicles out there today, especially in the US military. The Hydra Strut suspension system is provided by a Horseman Defence System of the UK. The maximum towed road speed is 88 km per hour and the towed cross-country speed is 50 km per hour. The load of the towing eye is rated at 60 kilograms. The towing ground clearance is up to 660 millimeters. Now, the general appearance of the M777 is quite peculiar compared to most other towed howitzers, making quick recognition fairly easy. You know if you're looking at an M777 fairly quickly. The rectangular muzzle brake is conspicuously hollow with two huge baffles to the side of it. The towing eye is mounted on the base of the muzzle brake and has a spike shape. Usually the M777 has no trails, and the M777's appearance changes noticeably between its travelling configuration and its firing position. Its in-place configuration sits extremely low to the ground, with its stabilizers swung forward and its spays dropped to the ground behind it. So low that when the tube is in the level position, it's barely half a meter above the ground. Despite its low slung proportions, the M777 is still easily achieving high gun elevation, as the pivot point of the gun cradle is effectively behind both the saddle and the carriage body. As mentioned, most components of the M777 are made of titanium alloy, though some structural components are made of aluminum or aluminium, and the gun tube is made of steel. An interesting weight-saving measure is the fact that most of the parts of the M777 serve multiple functions, rather than having a separate part for each. For example, the hydraulics in the suspension are also used for the hydraulic as a jack. A hydraulic-operated loading tray is mounted behind the breech on the right side, but no rammer is included. The standard M777s have an optical sight mounted on the left sight and provisions for an additional sight on the right side if required. The M777 requires 3 minutes to emplace and 2 to 3 minutes to displace. The primary projectile for the M777 had been initially the M107HE round, but this munition was gradually being expended in service and replaced by the M795HE round. This 47.6 kg projectile holds a 10.8 kg bursting charge, which may be TNT or IMX 101 depending on the customer. The US Army normally uses a TNT filler and the US Marine Corps uses an IMX. The M982 Excalibur is one of the most heavily used projectiles for this gun. This is a GPS guided HE round which boasts fin stabilization and near pinpoint accuracy, giving it the very impressive range of 40 km when fired from a 155mm L39 weapon. The programmable guidance system allows the weapon crew to set the Excalibur to land on a specific geographic location, allowing frontline troops calling in fire missions to designate specific high priority targets for destruction by single projectiles, for example a particularly problematic enemy pillbox. In addition to its GPS guidance, the Excalibur also has inertial guidance, which not only allows the projectile to maintain its ballistic arc even against heavy jamming, but also allows some guidance capability when the GPS is unusable altogether, though it won't be as accurate. The Excalibur weighs 48 kilograms and carries a 22 kilogram PBXN9 warhead. Various sources differ on the reported unit cost of an Excalibur, from anywhere from $100,000 to $214,000 each, but these figures can be a bit misleading. You've got to remember that the rounds are also going to be coming with the bag charges, etc. that come with it, and the logistical support that needs to get those rounds onto the battlefield. There is also the M549A1 RAP-HE round, which is basically a rocket-boosted HE round, which can attain a range of 30 km when fired from the M777 if using the Zone 8S M203 propellant charge. This round weighs 43.6 kg prior to fusing and carries a 6.8 kg bursting charge. The M864 DPICM, or Dual Purpose Improved Conventional Munition, is a submunition dispersing projectile which on descent breaks open and scatters large numbers of anti-personnel and anti-material grenades over a wide area. In layman's terms, it's a cluster bomb. The payload consists of 24 M46, 48 M42 grenades, which both have shaped charge, high explosive anti-tank rounds, and secondary fragmentation effect, making the M864 effective against a wide range of targets, folks, including tanks and infantry. The M777 also fires, obviously, smoke, a very wide range of mine-scattering projectiles as well. The M712 Copperhead laser-guided artillery projectile can also be fired from the M777. Though only 20,000 were ever made and production terminated decades ago, the stockpile is rapidly dwindling, and any NATO standard 155mm shells can also be fired from the M777. Canada was the first nation to deploy the gun in the Afghan war in support of Operation Archer in 2006. The M777 reportedly quite effective in this campaign, causing a large percentage of Taliban casualties inflicted by ISAF forces, and most damage inflicted on the Taliban was reported by only 2 guns firing. So overall, the M777 has sold in quite large numbers in production continues to this day. Approximately 1,200 pieces of these guns have been completed. However, the M777 has an unusually narrow customer base for the artillery piece on the market for over 20 years, despite also having extremely heavily publicity on this gun around the world in various conflicts that it's been in. It's still not appealing to certain countries for their primary use. This is mainly due to its very high price tag. A typical 155mm Howitzer costs a 1/10 as much as what this gun does, so it's something to think about. Guys, I hope you learned a little bit about this artillery piece today, and I've got to admit I'm highly impressed with the firepower of this gun and the features it has. I hope you took a little bit of information away from this, and just to remind you all that this is purely an informative video. I am not a subject matter expert, and all the information that is sourced for this video comes from a public source from the internet. So if anything I got wrong, I apologise. I'm just trying to pull from information sources which I can find. Hopefully I give you a little bit of a rundown of what this gun's all about. A highly impressive gun for me, definitely, and I'm proud to be an aspiring gunner in the near future. Folks, if you wish to support my channel, please go check out my Patreon account. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to leave me a comment in Discord, come join there, come hang out, have a chat, play games with me, talk about whatever you want to talk about. And of course, I do have my Facebook, so if you want to share my video around on social media, you can do that too. Hopefully in the near future, guys, I'm actually going to be a gunner. In the summer, I'm going to be going for my training to be an artillery gunner. Not on this beautiful gun, unfortunately, these fellow Canadian soldiers are working on right now, which they look absolutely badass putting these rounds in the tube and punching them down range. But no, I'll be working on the C3 Howitzer, which is a little smaller, well actually a lot smaller, but I'm still super excited to get into it, so stay tuned for further updates for that in the future. Anyway, everyone, thank you again for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. All the best. Bye-bye.